I hear you. You're short on time. You're wondering if there's this magical place in Sydney, easily accessible by public transport, with a beach, with good food, with some historical monuments and great hiking? Yep, there is. That's why we're going to Manly. Hi, I'm Stacy Trock. I live here in Sydney. I'm a tour guide and I love finding little hidden gems and history nuggets and all kinds of weird things. And so today we are going to Manly. This will not be the last time, but it's gonna be the first. So buckle up. So how do we get to this magical little place? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There's a ferry that goes from the CBD, the Central Business District, or the downtown, straight to Manly. So you go to Wharf 2 in Circular Quay. There are signs, very easy. You can either take the Manly Fast Ferry, which is 5 minutes faster, or the regular green and gold ferry to Manly. Both will get you there. Both are about like $6 or something, and they will take you to the Manly Wharf. I highly recommend you taking the ferry. Not only is it beautiful, but it's also easy. Parking in Manly is annoying. It's on a peninsula. It takes a long time to get there. Treat yourself to a lovely boat experience. People pay big money to be on the harbor in fancy boats. You can pay a lot less money and still be on the harbor in a less fancy boat and get there. You'll arrive at the wharf, and from there, everything I'm going to be talking about is within walking distance. So this is a gem of a day. It's also a gem of a weekend. So if you go, look for an Airbnb, look for a hotel where you can spend the night and spend a weekend there, you are going to love it. First up, as soon as you come off the ferry, thing number one you'll see is the Corso. This is probably the most famous bit that you'll hear about Manly. It was styled after an Italian, villa, something, whatever. It's a main street, it's a promenade with stores on either side. Doesn't sound that spectacular, but it's kind of a big deal. There are restaurants, there are cafes, and the great thing about the Corso is it takes you directly from the wharf to the beach. It's lovely. If you hit it on the weekends, there will be markets. I recommend you have a little meander around. Obviously, right off of the Corso, there'll be little tiny laneways that also have cafes and restaurants and cool murals on the walls and things like that. So have a look. And then when you get to the end, you're going to hit a big promenade, like a boardwalk, and that is the beach. Now, Manly Beach is famous for its surfing. And the beach is long and expansive, and you will see people surfing, you will see people swimming. Tip: swim between the flags. This is true on all Australian beaches. You will see red and yellow flags. You are swimming between those. Surfers have their own zones, and this is because the lifeguards look out every morning. They see where the rips are, they see where it's safe, they tell you where the rocks are, and they plant the flags, so it's super easy to know that you're safe swimming between them. Do that. Don't be a silly tourist and try to swim not between the flags. Someone will blow a whistle at you and it's not safe. If you're not into swimming, doesn't matter. You can just sit on the beach. Same, just as lovely. Okay, you've been down the Corso. You've seen the beach. You could go home right now and tell everyone you went to Manly and had a fun time. What's the fun in that? No, we're gonna go bigger. So I'm gonna tell you about 2 more big areas that you might wanna wander around. Thing number 3 to visit in Manly is the Spit to Manly walk. Okay. This is part of a larger walk called the Bondi to Manly walk, which takes you from, yeah, you guessed it, Bondi, to Manly. The walks, great names, huh? Great names. So the Spit to Manly walk is a really beautiful walk that takes you from the Spit, I'll tell you more about that in a minute, to Manly. It is rocky. It is beautiful. You could do this, it's about, I should have looked this up before, but it's about like 10K or so. You could just do a part of it though. You don't have to do the whole thing in one day. And if you're staying in Manly, you could go out and come back. It is really rocky. There are indigenous carvings along the way. There's native wildlife. It is really beautiful and a really popular thing to do. Now, if you're like me, you're thinking, what the heck is a spit? Like, ew, is someone gonna spit on me? No. So the Spit is a place, and it's a bridge. So the bridge is called the Spit. And it was named after this like formation of a spit is like a stretch of sand. And so it used to be a stretch of sand that people ferried across, but then they built a bridge. Poor ferry guy had to find a new job. And the bridge is the only thing connecting the northern beaches, which is where Manly is, from the part closer to Sydney. So fun fact, the bridge opens a couple times a day and alarms go off and it opens and it's super cool. And during COVID, there was an outbreak on the northern beaches. And so they just opened the bridge so no one from the north could get across. Australians take their defense a bit seriously, but that was a fun fact. Now it's open most of the time. So if you want to do the walk, if you really want to do the whole thing, maybe you want to plan this as like a separate day. But if you want to just get a taste of it from Manly, or you're a really big enthusiast and you want to fit it in your morning, it's really clearly signposted. You can start at Manly, just head west and you'll find it, and you'll walk along the paths. It's like impossible to get lost. It's a track through the bush, and especially if you're visiting Australia, I highly recommend it because you will see wildlife and you will see native plants and bushes, and it is really a beautiful view over the ocean. Okay, I love hiking. Can you tell? Big area number 4 is the North Head in Manly. So let's talk a bit, because I had to learn all this stuff, so I'll just fill you in. A head, I didn't know this, is like a chunk of land that sits out in the ocean. So the North Head is the north entrance to the harbor, and South Head, which is Watson's Bay, is the south entrance to the harbor. So if you were looking at it from one perspective, like if you're coming in from the Pacific Ocean, there's these 2 giant headlands and these are the heads. So North Head is a big rock that you can walk around on, and I highly recommend that you do. So it's wilderness, like right next to the city. It's kind of baffling. And I'm going to talk more about a couple specific things you want to visit in North Head, but just from a broad view, it's sitting right next to the city of Manly. It's kind of elevated, and you go and it is as if you are nowhere near a city or people. North Head is where they had previously quarantined people. When ships were coming in, they would quarantine them at North Head, and there's a lot of history behind that. And there are tracks all around. You can do a really lovely 10K 6-mile loop. You can do it a bit shorter. There are also buses that run up to the top, but that's no fun. I would take a bus maybe one way and walk back down, because there's a lot of sights you'll want to see. And it is just a really lovely experience. So if I were doing a day in Manly, I would set a little chunk, like 2 or 3 hours aside, to go up into North Head if you're a keen walker and wander around. This is the first place I saw an echidna. You want to see an echidna in your life. They're weird. You want to. I'm not going to promise that you'll see one, but you could. So definitely add North Head to your list. Okay, so those are the four like big areas of Manly. You have the Corso, you have the beach, you have this giant walk going off to the side, and North Head. That's pretty much got all the territories covered. What are some must-sees that you want to see in those? Okay, must-see. Number one, the wormhole. And it doesn't take you anywhere different to a different dimension or different space of time. But it's very famous, it's very Instagrammable, and it's a tunnel that gives you a beautiful view of the ocean. So this is on the north side of the beach. If you just walk to the north, use your compass, and go, you will see rocks. Okay, turn right at the swimming pool, just keep following some rocks. Trust me, you'll find it. Look up, and there's a heart graffiti. I swear these are real directions. And just keep walking. Skip over some rocks, and then you'll see a sign that says, like, enter at your own risk. That is always a good sign when traveling. So go ahead, enter at your own risk, and you'll be in like a tunnel. You can also keep walking, and that'll take you further to the northern beaches. But if you turn around, you will see the most beautiful view. Surprisingly, it's not really that crowded. When I last went, it was a weekend with beautiful weather, and I still got beautiful photos. So definitely do that. It is super fun to skip along the rocks. The only warning is you will want to check the tide levels. You wouldn't want to go at super high tide just because there's more of a risk of the water breaking too high up the rocks. But pretty much any time I've been, it's been fine. Highly recommend the wormhole, and this one is one of the ones that like kind of makes you feel like you found a real secret, and it's definitely going to give you some Instagrammable photos to share with your friends back home. Must see number two, it's kind of like a twofer, but they're kind of on the same thing, is Shelly Beach and the Cabbage Tree Aquatic Reserve. Okay, so I had never seen this before I came to Australia, but an aquatic reserve is kind of like a national park, except under the water. So this is a place that is protected because of its underwater resourceness, amazingness, and it's protected, but you're allowed to visit. So if you are a snorkeler or a scuba diver, I mean, that's a bit more serious, but you can go and see really cool things. Now, there's other places in Sydney you can go and see really cool things, and maybe that's another video, but while you're here, go ahead and do it. So me and Maddie went snorkeling. There are blue gropers, which are like these fish that are like this big and bright blue. There's seaweed, there's coral, there's all kinds of things, and the deeper you go, the cooler things you would see. I did not see one, but I read the signs, and there are actual seahorses here. Can you believe it? Like seahorses in the wild. I mean, I know they had to live somewhere, but this is where they are. So that is the Cabbage Tree Aquatic Reserve. It's literally just sitting there at Shelly Beach. Shelly Beach is called Shelly Beach because it's Shelly. There's shells there. So this is a lovely little beach at the south end of Manly. So you have Manly Beach, just there's walk on the walkway. There's artwork along the whole side. There are water dragons along the side. You're walking down this path that's super crowded and a little annoying, but persist. Then you get there to Shelly Beach. So it's this like horseshoe shaped beach, plenty of space, put down your stuff. There's a cafe there. There's toilets, there's change rooms. Go swimming, go snorkeling. It's amazing. Do that. Also, I guess I should have said this earlier, but if you wanted to go up to the North Head, this is where you would go. So go to Shelly Beach, and then if you look up, that's your path into North Head. Do the beach. This, I find the water is much calmer than Manly Beach. So if you have little people, definitely much better to be at Shelly Beach. And oftentimes it's less crowded just because it takes a little bit of extra work to get there. Along to the right, there are a lot of rocks. You can go climbing around the rocks. You will see Australian kids just running amok, climbing, doing things like that are very daredevil-y because this is the culture and it's fantastic. And I'm also going to talk a bit more about that later. So Shelly Beach, Cabbage Tree Aquatic Reserve, definitely put it on your list. Okay, must see number 3, the Ferry Bower Ocean Pool. Now let me say something first. I didn't know what an ocean pool was before I came here. An ocean pool is literally just like a rectangle of concrete that gets filled up by the ocean. So it's a pool, it's an ocean pool. They're all over the coast of Australia, and the function of them is to give people a place to swim and play where the surf isn't as rough and tumble. The waves can come in, especially if it's high tide, but it's basically like being in an open pool where the water gets cleaned out every tide. So that's fantastic. So the Ferry Bower Ocean Pool is beautiful, and it is right on the walkway I was just telling you about to get to Shelly Beach. When Maddie and I visited last weekend, we brought our swimsuits and we stayed for a long weekend, and we were in this pool every day, sometimes twice a day. There's little cafes next to it. It's free. There's no charge for this stuff. You jump in, you can come out. There are change rooms. There's all the amenities. You can get an acai bowl, you can get a coffee, and you can watch people surfing. It's fantastic. So highly recommend this pool. Visiting Australia doesn't have to be expensive. There are heaps of free things to do. Okie dokie artichoke must see thing number 4, the third quarantine cemetery. I love cemeteries. I like history. This may not be your thing, that's fine. So the next 2 things I'm telling you about are in North Head. So walk up, look at a map, the way I told you to walk up, and you can also take a bus if you really want to. The third quarantine cemetery is an old cemetery, and it has like the best view, I think, in Australia. So it looks out over the entire harbor, and you can see South Head, you can see the city, you can see everything. And so I told you that North Head had formerly been a quarantine station, and so when boats came in and they had the plague or scarlet fever, whatever they were coming in with, a lot of people would die and they would bury them. This is called the third quarantine cemetery because there were 2 before it that just didn't work out. I think one of them was kind of below water level and the bodies came out and stuff. You don't want that kind of stuff happening. So the third one is on a very high hill, and it has a beautiful view. Definitely worth walking around. It's a bit kind of like wild, unkempt. There are pathways through it. Lots of people died really young. I think the keeper, what would he be called? Yeah, the keeper of the quarantine station lost his wife and like 5 of his kids because they were getting exposed to diseases all of the time. And it is just really a beautiful cemetery to visit. So have a look, and it's going to be, if you're doing a North Head walk, it's going to be on your walk. Must see thing number 5 in Manly is Collins Beach. So this is a beach that if you're doing a walk around North Head, you go down to head back to the city. It's a lovely little beach. It's kind of harder to get to, so it's not as busy. It has a waterfall. What else do you want in the world? And it also has this rock called Jump Rock, which, as I mentioned earlier, will have lots of crazy Australian teenagers and children jumping off from an absurd height because they are fearless. It's cool. Great. Watch that. The Collins Beach, I'm going to give you fake news first because I just found out today that it's not real. So I had always heard that Collins Beach is where Governor Phillip had been stabbed. Okay, TLDR, there was some name confusion. He wasn't really stabbed there. So let me give you the full fake news story and then the update. So Governor Phillip was a governor, as his name suggests, sent over by the British back in the colonial days. Listen, the Europeans came, they stole people, they weren't very nice, blah, blah, blah. Death's some kind of misunderstanding, and Governor Phillip was stabbed with a spear by an Indigenous man. Actually, probably kind of fair. So we thought this all happened at Collins Beach, which is a beautiful beach, and you can picture a stabbing event happening. But some historians were digging into it, and it happened, like in the paperwork, it said it happened at Collins Cove. But Collins Cove isn't where the waterfall is at Collins Beach, like we all thought. It actually was the name of a cove near the ferry terminal. So there you go. The stabbing didn't really happen there. But the story is still really good, and the stabbing still did really happen, and the beach is still gorgeous. So now, if you would like to go to Manly Cove, Collins Cove, it's next to the wharf, you'd walk by it anyway, different beach there. That's fine, but definitely still also visit Collins Beach. Okay, a video would not be a video if I didn't give you a few quickie food recommendations. Okay, I am not even going to do a deep dive on all of the places. It's next to a beach. There's a lot of great seafood places. There's a lot of great sushi. There's a lot of great every kind of food. There's lots of great cafes. I'm just going to hit you with 3 really quick ones, and we're just going to have to come back to it later. 1, Butterboy. Okay, I like cookies. I'm American. In general, I'm really disappointed by Australian cookies. They're like crispy, they call them biscuits. Listen, they just don't have it right most of the time, but Butterboy cookies are soft and warm on the inside with a slight crunch on the outside. They are exactly as you dreamed that they will be. Now, let me just give you the disclaimer. You will see Butterboy cookies everywhere. You will be at the airport and they'll be like, oh, here's a Butterboy cookie for $8, and you'll be tempted because you're at the airport and you're tired and whatever, but they are not that good if you get them from other places. What you want is to get them from the store in Manly where they cook them hot and fresh, and so the cookie is still warm when you get it. Do that. It's on the Corso. Food number 2 you want to visit, sorry, these are all desserts, this is just how it is Anita Gelato. There's a couple Anita Gelatos. They're really good. This is not where you go if you want a bunch of toppings. There are also froyo places with like 70 billion toppings and the M&M's obscure whatever flavor you are going to eat. But this is real gelato with really good, inventive, delicious flavors. It's pricey, but it's worth it, and it's yummy. Also on the Corso, get your cone, go to the beach, have a good time. Third food spot is the cafe at the top of North Head. Really beautiful views. You're gonna be tired if you walk up to North Head. When Maddie and I went, it was hot and hot. It was just hot and exhausting and tiring. And so to have a cafe with beautiful views and good food is definitely worth it. I'll pop in the links below. Okay, these are the 4 areas, the 5 things, the 3 foods, whatever, that you could do when you go to Manly, and there's so much more. So how would I tackle it? If you did this in one day, you're gonna be a bit tired, but you could absolutely take the ferry from the CBD in the morning. You can hit the beach, hit the Corso. You could probably even pop in a walk to North Head or a tiny bit of the spit to Manly, not the whole thing. Come back into the city, have a nice lunch, hit the beach, hit an ocean pool, do a little snorkeling, eat again, and then catch the ferry back. That is all very doable in one day. If you have a bit more time, maybe you're a Sydney local and you just don't get over to the north side very often, which that's me, it's worth booking a weekend. Like, there's no rush, there's no hustle to go somewhere in the morning. Just book an overnight or 2 nights and go spend the weekend there, and it is like you're somewhere else. Really do the full North Head hike. Really do a bit more of the walks, like explore some of the cafes and just hang out and chill out, because Manly is the place to do it. I hope you've loved this really quick view of a great place to visit in Sydney. If you would like to hear more, make sure to subscribe, and please do tell me what your favorite spots are, because I have loads more videos to make and I'm going to hit them. See you!